We are so back. Kind of, not really. I don't know. It's been a few weeks, you guys, since I've done a live show. There hasn't been that much Suns news to talk about. And well, I've been busy with a thing called life and my job. But that doesn't matter because today, August 14th, 2025, the 2025-26 NBA schedule was released and we actually have some stuff to talk about. But before we get started, you guys, sort of like we've been doing every live show whenever I do go live, let's do a quick mic check. Let's do a quick mic check. You see it on the screen right now. Let me know if we're looking and sounding good. And yeah, I would appreciate that. Thank you to everybody who's tuning in. If you guys happen to check out the last live show, I don't even want to call it a live show. I made a stupid mistake on the streaming service that I use, and let's just say I clicked the wrong button and it ended the YouTube stream. Thank goodness, though, because Restream recorded everything and I was able just to upload it as a full video. So it was like a 58-minute video, but that doesn't matter, you guys. We are here, we are back, and we're going to talk about this schedule because there's actually just a little bit of Phoenix Suns stuff to talk about today. It's the middle of August, you guys. You know, basketball season doesn't even start until at least early October, which we're going to talk about here in a second. Let me take a sip of my water. Let me know what you're drinking in the chat, and cheers. Also, I don't know if you guys can see, but shout out to my brother who gave me this awesome The Valley shirt, our like city edition jerseys from last year. Figured I would rock the Valley hat to go with it too. All right, guys. Appreciate the sound check. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. Finally, let's dive into this, you guys. Let's get right to it. And I figured the PDF on this would probably be the best way to go about it because we can kind of zoom in and look at the key dates. And we're going to go over some other stuff like key games, games that I'm looking forward to, et cetera, et cetera. So while we're looking at this, you guys, let me know what games you're going to be attending if you do live in the Valley. And if you don't live in the Valley, that's okay. Let me know what games you're going to be going to or that you want to go to. Let me know what games you're going to be watching. You know what I mean? Let's be real. We're probably going to be watching all of them, but let me know what games you're really looking forward to. So let's just start here, you guys. Here it is. The Phoenix Suns 2025-26 schedule is finally upon us. The NBA schedule is finally upon us. And here it is in all of its beautiful glory, you guys. Again, we're going to be taking kind of a closer look at it here in a second. So let me just put my microphone down. You already know the drill here. One-man show on Suns Geek. Let's just start off in October, you guys. Let's do a little bit of a zoom in. Scroll down a bit. Let's see. We got to get this like nearly perfect. Let's see. Wait for it. Okay, so yeah, let's start here, you guys. The month of October. Oh, yeah, that looks pretty good. It all begins, and yes, if you guys have been tuning into my channel for a while, you guys know I like preseason because, in my opinion, preseason is like a teaser trailer to the NBA season or the Suns season in this case. It all begins October 3rd, which is a Friday, by the way, in Palm Desert, California, against the Los Angeles Lakers. So remember, we're talking preseason here. And then, we play the Lakers later in October. So we have 4 preseason games. 2 against the Lakers, 2 against Brooklyn Nets. And those Brooklyn Nets games are in, I hope I'm not butchering this. I can't even pronounce that. It's in China. I can't pronounce the city name, but it's in China, you guys. So 4 preseason games. And they obviously gave the Suns a few days to travel because obviously that's a far flight and they're going to have time to practice and all that good stuff. Same thing with the Brooklyn Nets. And except for on October 12th, when they'll still be in China. They'll have a day to get home. Holy crap, I just realized that. So they play in China October 10th against the Brooklyn Nets. Then they have a day off. They play again in China. Then they have to fly all the way back home to Phoenix and play the Lakers on a Tuesday. Then we have like 6, 7, 8 days off or whatever it is. So, like I said before, the real season begins October 22nd at home. I'm glad we're not on the road this time. It starts at home against the Sacramento Kings, who are just kind of in a weird spot. They're just a weird team. They have DeMontis Sabonis and they have some other younger talent, but that team is they're not the light the beam Kings anymore, you know what I mean? Which is sad. But anyways, let's move on here. One thing I did notice about the schedule early on is I believe we have 6 games in like 7 nights. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, in a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wow. So 6 games in like 10 days or something like that. Play the Kings. Then we have our first back-to-back. I guess you could kind of call it a triple because, we have that Sunday off on October 26th, but then we play the Jazz on the road. So we play the Clippers, Bradley Beal, Chris Paul. I will say, despite Bradley Beal going there, the Clippers actually had a really good offseason, in my opinion. Shout out to them. But we'll see if Bradley Beal even plays in that game. So they play the Los Angeles Clippers, the Clippies, as I call them, on Friday, October 24th. Then they have a back-to-back against Nikola Jokic and Cameron Johnson. Yes, Cameron Johnson was traded there this offseason. So that's our first back-to-back. Then we play the Jazz. Then we play the Grizzlies on October 29th. And we play on Halloween. I love Halloween, and I love basketball on Halloween. We play the Utah Jazz. I love it. Let's see. Jesse, I appreciate you being here. He says, "What's up, Suns Geek? Much love, brother. Let's go, Suns." Yes, let's go, Suns. And thank you guys for everybody who tuned in and let me know about the mic check. Queso Dip says, "I'm drinking Cocoa 5, Devin Booker's coconut water." I've tried that before, and I do like it, but it's kind of expensive, so I don't really buy it that much. But yeah, I appreciate that. Let's see. Smash the like button. Appreciate that. Like, comment, and subscribe. Appreciate that. And we actually have a good friend of the channel tuning in. He says, Anthony Coy introduced me to your old Super Mario videos. Absolutely hilarious. Yes, if you guys did not know, one of my best friends and I, we used to have a gaming channel like way back in the day. And it's good times, man. Good times. We gotta do that again sometime. But appreciate you, Katie, for tuning in, and hopefully Anthony's tuning in as well. Love you guys. All right, so let's continue on here. Let's go to November, where we have a pretty jam-packed schedule. I think that's fair to say. In November, that's when that's when it all really takes off in a way. So we start December, or not December. Can't wait to talk about December though. But we start November on Sunday, November 2nd, against the San Antonio Spurs. It's like we have a game like every other day. And look how many back-to-backs there are, you guys. We play the Spurs, who I think they actually had a pretty good offseason too. They're all building it for Wemby. Then we play the Warriors on the road. Then we play the Clippers, Bradley Beal, Chris Paul. Then the Clippers again. We pretty much have a back-to-back against the Clippers. Then we play the Pelicans, the Mavericks, the Eastern Conference champions. They were one game away from the NBA championship, the Indiana Pacers. That's going to be a fun one on November 13th. I know that Tyrese Halliburton's out. They didn't have the best offseason. They lost Miles Turner. But that like kind of random East Coast game in the middle of November, I kind of like that. And actually, I'm just realizing it now. That's our first Eastern Conference opponent to start off the season is the Pacers. So that's kind of cool. I like how they just kind of randomly threw that in there. And then another team that actually had a good offseason, much better than the Pacers, The Atlanta Hawks. I thought they had a great offseason. November 16th in Phoenix versus Atlanta. And that's going to be a fun game. I thought they had a great offseason. Then we play the Portland Trailblazers. Then we finally get a couple days off, you guys. Now there is a couple days off before the Hawks game. So it looks like we'll have 5 days off, in between the Pacers game, the Hawks game, and the Blazers game. Then 2 days off, and then we play the Timberwolves. And then we kind of hit more back-to-backs and a lot of games in a row. Spurs and Rockets. And that's one game that I did take note on. November 24th, 7:30 p.m. on Peacock. Kevin Durant returns to the Valley. You guys know that's going to be a sold-out game. And it's going to be interesting to see the reaction from Suns fans. That will definitely be a discussion that we will have on this channel when Kevin Durant does return to the Valley and how Suns fans will react. Same thing with Bradley Beal. Definitely will be reacting to that as well. So the Spurs and Rockets on the 23rd and 24th, Kevin Durant's homecoming. And then we play the Kings on the road, and then the defending NBA champions, the Oklahoma City Thunder, on November 28th at OKC. And then we play Denver the next day. Jeez Louise. November is packed. Let's talk about one of the best times of the year, December, when the weather feels incredible in the Valley. Can't wait for that because it's been brutal this summer. We have a lot of road. Geez, I'm just looking at it now, you guys. We have a lot of road games in December. Holy crap. I know the schedule came out today, but I actually didn't. I kind of glimpsed at some things here and there, but I'm pretty much reacting to you guys in live time, believe it or not. I pretty much was off the internet today for the most part. I was busy working. I just kind of retweeted a couple things here and there. But I'm reacting to this in pretty much live time. Let's read a couple more comments before we before we continue. Katie and I have been watching those. I appreciate you, Anthony. I'm so glad you're here, man. Thank you to you and Katie. It's Coy and Brandon Contra, and I love that, man. That's so good. That's so good. You guys are awesome. Thank you guys for being here. And even if you guys are all watching later, I appreciate you guys. Hernandez says, I'm looking forward to preseason. I think this year it'll matter. When we first saw Brad, Book, Katie, first preseason game, they looked amazing. Then the dark days. I'm glad you said this. And I want to focus on one part of your comment here. I'm looking forward to preseason. I think this year it will matter. So before we talk about the December games, I agree with this. This is why I mentioned the whole preseason thing earlier. This year, I think it will matter. And you guys are going to get sick of me saying this on this channel, but it's true. This is a different Phoenix Suns team than last year. The Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, quote, Big Three era is over. This is a brand new team, a brand new front office, a brand new coaching staff. And besides Devin Booker, a brand new team, a younger team, hopefully a more athletic, fun, competitive team. But we're going to talk about that later. And that's why I love this comment. I think preseason will matter this year. It's going to be fun. And they're playing in China twice. That's going to be cool. All right. Let's get back to it, shall we? The December games. Let's just call it that. The December games. Holy crap. We have 2 games at home, I believe. Because it says regular season game to be determined because they have the NBA Cup. That's just what I call it. I don't call it the Emirates or whatever it's called. I just call it the NBA Cup. The Lakers are on the road. We play the Lakers on the road. The Rockets, the Timberwolves, the Warriors on December 20th. We play on my brother's birthday on December 26th against the Pelicans back-to-back, the 26th and 27th. Then we play the Wizards. Then we play the Cleveland Cavaliers to end the year of 2025 all on the road. And I could be wrong, but like we play the Warriors and Lakers on the Warriors are on the 18th of December. The Lakers are on the 23rd. So some of these games will be at home because the NBA Cup starts December 9th and it looks like it ends on the 16th of December. And I want to say a few of those games might be in Vegas. But man, that's a lot of road games in December. Holy crap. But it is always cool to play basketball in December. I like going to those games too. It's just the vibe's a lot of fun. If you get a chance to go to a Suns game during the holidays, it's a lot of fun. I highly recommend it. But man, that is wild. So many games on the road. And, not that many back-to-backs. But, besides the NBA Cup games and then that, the Pelicans games, but man, it's a lot of games on the road. And I think I read something earlier too that was like, the Suns play 6, 7 games in 10 nights or whatever it is. That will kind of like set the tone for the season, And if the Suns are as, I guess, serious as they've been talking this offseason, then they should be ready for it. They should be ready for, to set the tone early in the season. All right, so let's check out, as I kind of lower myself on the screen here, let's check out January. More games, a lot of back-to-backs, but a lot of home games too. We start off the new year in 2026 against Sacramento Kings. That's interesting. We start the NBA season against Sacramento Kings. And then we start the new year in 2026 against Sacramento Kings. So that's interesting. Then we play the OKC Thunder. Then we go to Houston to play against Kevin Durant and the Houston Rockets, who I keep talking about teams that had good off seasons. Besides acquiring Kevin Durant, the Rockets, I thought, had a really good off season. Excuse me. Then January 9th, we play the New York Knicks. That'll be a fun game, hopefully. Mikal Bridges, for all you big fans of Mikal Bridges. And, there's always Knicks fans everywhere, Then we play the Washington Wizards on January 11th. Then we go on a big kind of East Coast road trip. We play starting January 13th. The Miami Heat, the Detroit Pistons, who had a great season last year, the Knicks again, the Brooklyn Nets, the Philadelphia 76ers, and the Atlanta Hawks. And they have pretty much a day off every other day in between this road trip. And then they have 2 days off on January 21st and 22nd. Then after the Atlanta game on Friday, January 23rd, they come back home and it looks like a 4-game homestand in like 7 days. And there's a back-to-back thrown in there with with Detroit and Cleveland. That's brutal, man. So we play, let's see, how many East Coast teams do we play in January? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 East Coast teams in 1 month. Holy cow. Let's move on to, why am I going over? Here we go. Let's go on to February. Man, there's so many games. I know baseball, I know there's a lot of games in baseball too, but I think basketball kind of gets underrated with how truly long the NBA season really is. Holy cow, guys, look at this. We play Bradley Beal and Chris Paul and the Clippies on February 1st. And then we play the Blazers, the War. There's a lot of home games in February. That's what I'm noticing. Looks like we only play 2 East Coast teams in the month of February. And you guys know me, although I have kind of soured on it over the years. I do love All-Star Weekend because it's a celebration of the game we all love. But I have kind of soured on All-Star Weekend. But All-Star Weekend kicks off February 13th, 2026. And then we'll end, obviously, on Sunday, February 15th, 2026. But then there's a few days off. I think some teams will probably play on February 12th, but the Suns will have that day off. So they'll have about 7 or 8 days off, and then they'll jump back into the action against the Spurs on February 19th in Austin, Texas. Then we have a 4-game homestand. One of those games are against the Boston Celtics. I've been to a couple Suns and Boston Celtics games in the Valley, and you'd be kind of surprised with how many Celtics fans there are, or just Boston fans in general, there are in the Valley. At least that's how it used to be back in the day. I don't know how it is now, but I even have a video on my channel of me, like the Suns lost, and just the Celtics / Boston fans outnumbered the Suns fans. But that was back like when we sucked. So, it is what it is. Okay. Haley, thank you for being here. Oh man, that's a great question from my guy Anthony. Let's see real quick. Let's switch it up for a moment. Let's see. Wait, where'd the comment go? My guy Anthony says, do you think Devin Booker has the guys around him that he needs to shine? And who does the Suns need to be a top tier team? It's a great question, Anthony. Man, I could spend a whole podcast just talking about these two questions right here. I hope so, because this will truly be a Devin Booker kind of year, because he is the lone superstar from this team, because Kevin Durant got traded. Bradley Beal was bought out. There's no more superstars, no more all-stars around Devin Booker. And he has a team now that is a lot younger, a lot more athletic, and hopefully a lot more competitive. And I really do think, I mean, obviously I'm a biased Suns fan homer, but like I truly do believe the Suns had one of the better off seasons in general in the NBA. But it's going to be interesting. Time will tell if Devin Booker has the guys around him in order to shine. Hopefully Devin Booker can kind of have like a, how do I say this? Hopefully Devin Booker can kind of have like a resurgence season, like a season where he reminds people, hey, I'm the best shooting guard in the NBA. I am an all-star. I'm one of the best players in the league. Not saying he didn't do that last season, but it kind of got overlooked because of how bad the Suns were playing and all the losing and the Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal stuff and yada, yada, yada. To answer the second question, though, who do the Suns need to be a top tier team? That's sort of a question that will be determined. Like, I hope that the Suns will prove people wrong and be a great team, but it's like, we just don't know yet. And I want to kind of have a small segment on that later. So thank you for the questions, Anthony. I appreciate it. Saul says, what's up, Brandon? Those last 4 games are brutal. And he says, the first week is rough, but the rest look like 50-50 games. Exactly. And I'm kind of glad you said 50-50 games, because that's going to kind of touch into my little segment later that I want to talk about with this Phoenix Suns team. Yeah, exactly. Sea of green last time I went. Exactly. Like, you guys would be surprised with how many Boston and then like Celtics fans there are in the Valley, which is fine. Like, people might, they go to other states and all that, but like, I was just shocked. I couldn't believe it, man. Okay. Hopefully, Jalen Green becomes an all-star, but the West is tough even for Booker to make the squad. Yep, we will see, you guys. All right, let's get back to it. We pretty much recapped February. We have a lot of home games, and we have NBA All-Star Weekend. Hopefully the Suns can take some time to rest and recharge and regroup. And then, March and April are kind of weird months, because it's like March is like, we all know before March who the true contenders are, sprinkled in with like, hey, that team can make some noise in the playoffs. But why I kind of like March and April is like, especially with the whole play-in tournament, it's like that's the time for like play-in tournament teams to like roll off some wins and kind of sneak their way into the playoffs. But like for the true contenders out there, it's like, whatever. If we lose this game, who cares? Whatever. But yeah, March is jam packed. Again, we play the Sacramento Kings again. And look at this. We got like 3 home games against the Bulls, Pelicans, and Hornets. Hopefully, those 3 wins will be big at the time because those 3 teams are, we can expect them to probably not be very good. And then we go on another road trip, mainly on the East Coast. The Bucks on March 10th, the Pacers and Raptors back to back, the Celtics, which is a Monday game at 5:00 on Peacock. More on that later, by the way. We're going to look at like a lot of the games that are on, the newer streaming services and all that. And really just for the NBA in general, because Brian Windhorst had a tweet about it. Then we play the Timberwolves on March 17th, St. Patty's Day, and then the Spurs. And then we're home for a while for, 8 to 9 days. We play the Bucks, the Raptors, Nuggets, Jazz. And then we end the month of March on a back-to-back against the Grizzlies and the Magic. Those are kind of early games too. And then April. Hopefully the Phoenix Suns will be a playoff team by this point, or at least fighting for playoff position. Trying to sneak their way into the playoffs. Our final game in April, the final home game, is against the Dallas Mavericks, a.k.a. Cooper Flagg, Anthony Davis. I would have said Kyrie Irving, but he's out for the year. And D'Angelo Russell? I keep forgetting they got D'Angelo Russell. So we have a back-to-back kind of Texas homestand to end at least the Suns' home games against the Rockets and the Mavericks. Then we play the Lakers on April 10th. And then the final game of at least the Phoenix Suns regular season for the 2025-26 season is against the defending champions, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Man, it's a brutal schedule, you guys. But I'm very hopeful. I hope, and again, it's going to be my segment later, but let's just say I am hopeful. I need to take a sip of my water, and then we'll kind of focus in on some other key dates and key games, and we'll kind of keep going. Then I want to talk about my segment. Then I'll answer some questions and all that fun stuff, and then we'll probably wrap this up. Delicious. Okay. So let me just zoom out real quick so you guys can just look at the schedule. Let's see. There we go. That looks better. And then let's fix this. Sorry, guys. You already know the drill here. One-man show. So there is the Phoenix Suns 2025-26 schedule. Let me know what games you do want to attend. Please let me know. I would appreciate it. Okay. I think a good way to kind of recap the entire Suns schedule is from my guy, John Voida from Bright Side of the Sun and from the Suns Jam Session podcast. Go check them out. He does this every year, and I absolutely love it. And I think he pretty much wrapped up and I think this will visually look better for the people who are viewing the stream right now. Yeah. Oh yeah. This looks so much better. Let me get my ugly face off the screen real quick for the most part. There we go. Boom. Let's do that. Boom. Okay. There we go. That looks better. Here's John's beautiful graphic. Go follow go follow my guy, John Voida of the Suns Jam Session podcast and Bright Side of the Sun. All the games in orange are home games, and all the games with that are purple are away games, and then there's like the cup games and all that good stuff. And he even put like the Suns TV schedule. A lot of them are on Arizona Family, Tom and Tom. I think we only have someone correct me in the comments. Do we have 7 national TV games, or is it 16? Someone correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. But it looks like our first one is against the Memphis Grizzlies, October 29th. So someone let me know in the comments. I probably should have had that pulled up. Oh, wait, hold on. I'm sorry. Let's read his tweet. My bad. Yeah, okay. So we have 7 national TV games. So here's John's tweet. He says, my annual at Sun schedule graphic thingy. I like how he adds the word thingy. I love it. Longest homestand, 5 games from January 25th to February 1st. Remember, that's the longest homestand, which is interesting because I feel like in years past, I could be wrong, but I feel like in years past, we have like 7 home games like in a row. That's kind of interesting. Maybe I'm wrong on that though. And then we have 16, you heard it right, 16 back-to-back games. And that's exactly how it sounds. 2 games that are back-to-back nights. But the way that I look at it is like the Suns always have a lot of back-to-backs, so does every NBA team. I like to focus more on the games that like they have a day off and they play the next day. The Suns have a lot of those. We need to come up with a word like that, a word for that, where they play back-to-backs, they have one game off and they play again. Somebody come up with a word for that. So anyways, 16 back-to-backs. And the longest road trip will take place in January 13th to the 23rd. 6-game road trip. I wonder if that's that East Coast trip. Probably. Most in 10 days. And we did talk about this earlier. Most games in 10 days, which is 6, October 22nd through the 31st. And then we have 3 matinee games. I'm assuming I don't know which ones those are. Are those the China games? Anyways. Oh, wait, no, those might be some of those East Coast games too. I don't know. But anyways. And then number 2, days off, 25 days. Wait. Number 2. Oh, I'm sorry. No, wait. I don't know what he meant by that. I'm stupid. I don't know what I'm talking about. And then again, we have the national TV games, which is 7. At least we have 7 national TV games. I mean, that's better than like 4 or like 2. I don't know. But anyway, shout out to my guy, John. Great work on this graphic here. Great work on the schedule. And that's sort of a nice little breakdown. And let's see here. There was a couple tweets I want to read to you guys. We're going to kind of focus. This is going to be kind of like all over the place here. But I wanted to read you guys a few tweets about the NBA schedule in general. And let's just kind of start here. Now, this tweet was from like a week ago, but what's going on here? What okay, there we go. So Shams Charania had this tweet earlier. This was like a week ago, but opening night of the NBA, the 2025-26 NBA season, is on NBC on October 21st per sources. I mean, now we are, excuse me, now we already know this. Excuse me. I got to take a sip of my water. So the opening night of the NBA season, October 21st, 2025, against the Houston Rockets and the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Golden State Warriors and the Los Angeles Lakers. So you got Steph Curry and LeBron. You got the Lakers, Luka. I keep forgetting Luka's on there. And then you got the Houston Rockets, who had a great offseason. Kevin Durant against his old team, the defending champions, the OKC Thunder. But opening night is kind of weird because, like, I always feel like for the most part, the defending NBA champs lose. I don't know why, but, it is what it is. All right. Then let's talk about NBA Christmas. And, if it's not a surprise, I mean, I didn't find it I wasn't surprised by it. But if you're wondering if the Suns play on Christmas, spoiler alert, they do not, which I'm fine with. Because, we don't have Kevin Durant anymore. We don't have Bradley Beal anymore. My phone just went off. We don't have those guys anymore. And it's all about ratings and numbers and superstars and all that. And right now the Phoenix Suns don't have that. unless they make some like crazy trade. But even then, they still wouldn't play on Christmas. So the Suns won't play on Christmas. Oh, yeah, I forgot DeAndre Ayton's a Laker too. I totally forgot about that. God, where have I been, man? But anyways, NBA Christmas 2025. Let me zoom in a little bit too. It all kicks off, which by the way, if you don't already know this, NBA, the NBA on Christmas is like football on Thanksgiving, for example. It's like the NBA's day. And it's interesting because the NFL is trying to compete with the NBA now, but like the NBA still rules Christmas, in my opinion. And it's just a tradition. I mean, it goes way back. Like the NBA on Christmas is great. So here are the Christmas Day games. The Cavaliers and Knicks, so it's like an East Coast showdown. That will be good, hopefully. Wemby and the Spurs against the defending champions, OKC Thunder. I'll probably tune into that game for sure. And remember, this is probably like in order. Usually the games start at like 10 because it's an East Coast game. So I assume it would probably start at noon in the East Coast. And then it's like the Thunder and the Spurs. Then we got Kevin Durant against Luka, LeBron, DeAndre Ayton, and the Lakers. Can't believe I just said that sentence out loud. And then we got the Mavericks and the Warriors, and then the Timberwolves and Nuggets. That's kind of cool. That's a great NBA day schedule, in my opinion. Okay. Remember when I was talking earlier? Now, this isn't specifically for the Suns. This is just the NBA in general. And maybe we can look at it later. We can be like, we'll find out what games are on what, oops, I almost made a big mistake there. We'll find out which games are on which streaming services. But Brian Windhorst had this tweet earlier. And he says, with the NBA schedule out, a reminder of the new league television partner rotation. Because remember, there's no more NBA on TNT, which I have some unpopular opinions about because, spoiler alert, I was never really the biggest fan of, Kenny and Shaq and all them. Charles Barkley, the Suns legend. That's just my personal opinion. But anyways, so going back, with the NBA schedule out, a reminder of the new league television partner rotation. Full season on Mondays, it'll be on Peacock. Tuesdays, NBC and Peacock. Wednesday, ESPN. Friday, ESPN and Amazon Prime Video. Because to my knowledge, it's like an NBA licensing thing. And now like the streaming services are taking over. Now there's no more NBA on TNT. I'm sure there's like a lot of other smarter people that can break that all down. But, it's streaming services are taking over. And by the way, it's not just like the names of the streaming services. A lot of these like media outlets, they have a stacked lineup of like broadcasters, reporters, sideline reporters. Like I think Michael Jordan's on one of them. And I'm not even joking. Like I think he's going to be a part-time like sideline guy or something like that. Like it's stacked, dude. So full season on Peacock, NBC and Peacock, Wednesdays on ESPN, and then, Friday, ESPN and Prime Video, blah, blah. Then after football ends, so February something, whenever the Super Bowl is, Thursdays will be on Prime Video. Saturdays, ABC, ESPN, and Prime Video. And then on Sundays, ABC, ESPN, and NBC. So, hopefully, the hope is that we'll be able to, watch these games. Hopefully the NBA is more viewable, watchable, and hopefully this whole like quote stacked lineup of broadcasters and reporters and sideline reporters are as good as I'm making them sound. If somebody could let me know like how many games we have on like certain streaming services, I'm sure I could look it up, but I'm probably just too lazy. But yeah. Okay. Let's kind of focus in on that like segment that I'm kind of overhyping. Let me take a sip of my water first. So remember when we were talking about like the preseason and like my boy Anthony was like, "Hey, do you think Devin Booker has the right players around him to shine?" Blah blah blah. And I kind of mentioned twice that the hope is that the Suns will, again, I know I sound like a broken record, that the Suns will be like a more athletic, more fun team. This segment I'm going to call it Suns Geeks. Sorry. I'm going to call this segment Suns Geeks Wishful Thinking for the 2025-26 NBA season. And we all know last season was extremely frustrating. It was, and I like to reference it this way. It sort of stood out when the Suns would actually compete. It stood out when the Suns would come back in games and win. It stood out when there was like a lot of hustle and effort and defense. I don't know how many games the Suns are going to win this season. Hopefully it's enough to get into a playoff spot. Fingers crossed on that. But I just hope that not only are the Suns hopefully going to be more exciting and fun to watch, but that they're just a little more competitive. And that's sort of the key word here. Competitive. Yeah, obviously I wish the Suns could win all 82 games and we'd be the NBA champions and we'd have a month-long parade in downtown Phoenix. Yeah, I wish that obviously, but it's probably unlikely it's going to happen. But do I wish and hope that the Suns will be competitive? And by that, I simply mean that will they be there at the end of ball games? Will they make games close? Will they make the other team be like, damn, we had to fight for that game? Or like, man, we let our guard down and that's why the Phoenix Suns beat us. Or like, hey, we had a 20-point lead, which isn't as much as it seems in today's NBA. And all of a sudden the Suns came back and won the game. And like Brian says, competitive and play defense. I want to see a defensive, competitive team out there. And like I kind of referenced this earlier, Matt Ishbia has been saying it a lot this offseason. New Suns head coach Jordan Knott and New Suns GM Brian Gregory is like, hey, we're going to be more competitive and all this stuff. This season is where they should prove it. And like a comment earlier where it's like, hopefully this preseason will actually matter, And I hope that they can prove that to us. I hope those first 7 games and 10 nights or whatever it is really can show us Suns fans that not only is this going to be a more fun season, but a more competitive season. I don't care if it's the Oklahoma City Thunder, who just won the championship, by the way, who were a super dominant team like all season long. And I don't even care if it's the stinky rebuilding Washington Wizards. I want the Suns to be in those games, competing their tails off and actually in the ball game. Again, I don't know how many games the Suns are going to win. This is sort of the start of no, I take that back. It is a new era of Phoenix Suns basketball. You can call it a rebuild. You can call it a retool. I call it a new era of Suns basketball. And I just hope, I'm wishful thinking here. Suns Geek is wishful thinking that we just have a competitive roster that plays hard, plays defense, and gets Suns fans excited. There were only a few times last season where I actually jumped up or like reacted like, hell yeah. You know what I mean? Or like did like a reaction video. And I've said this a lot of times on the channel, and I'm going to say it more, that last season was the most negative, was the most pessimistic that I've ever been as a Suns fan. And whether you're new to this channel or you've been watching me since day one, or you're like my good friend Anthony, who's known me for years and knows that I'm one of the biggest Suns fans on the planet, I'm one of the most, if not the most positive Suns fan there ever is, ever was, ever is, whatever. And like last season, I just stopped caring. And like I have a YouTube channel to run. I share a bunch of Instagram, like Suns stuff on Instagram and all that. I just kind of stopped caring because the Suns clearly did not care. They didn't care either. So I was like, why should I care? There's literally a video on my channel of John from the Suns Jam. Matthew was there. Fanning the Flames was there. Gavin from the Aussie Suns Fans podcast was there. We were all drinking, having a good time, eating good food. And we literally celebrated and literally applauded the end of the Phoenix Suns season. I don't think I've ever done that in my life, but we literally all clapped and cheered and made fools of ourselves at a restaurant. And it was such a great time because it was just like, thank goodness it's over, man. But hopefully this season, hopefully we'll be in the arena, or we'll be in downtown Phoenix, or we'll be in our houses or whatever it is. And we'll just be celebrating wins. And not only wins, I mean, we obviously all hate to lose, but like maybe we'll be like, you know what? The Suns lost, but damn, they were in that game. That's it. That's all we're asking. Matt Ishbia, if you're listening, Brian Gregory, Jordan Ott, Devin Booker, if you're listening, which I know you're not. That's all we want. We want Devin Booker to shine. We want him to be an all-star again. Give us that too. Suns Geek wishful thinking. Maybe this will be a new segment on the channel. We'll call it Suns Geeks wishful thinking, where we just wish on things and we hope for things and we sort of make predictions. Obviously, I'm biased, but that was one of the best like rants, tangents, segments I think I've ever had in the history of this channel. I can't pronounce your first name, and I do apologize, but Hernandez says, it's our dog era. And if you've seen the Sun's social media, you know what I'm talking about, because we can probably go check it out right now since this is kind of the fun part of the show. But yeah, the Suns like did a whole like dog schedule release thing. I don't know. I haven't really tuned into it. I just know there's a lot of puppy dogs in there. But I guess we'll just check it out. Why not? Let's see. Why can't I share this? Oh, there it is. Okay, cool. Yeah, so like, you know, ready to unleash our schedule. You know what? Let's just watch this. I hope I don't get copyrighted for this, but like, ready to unleash our schedule. They got the dog print emoji. I can't play the music because I don't want to get copyrighted, but let's just watch this just for fun. And then I'll answer some questions and we'll probably wrap up the show. So if you got questions, get them in now. So there's is that Kobe Brea on the left? I think that's Kobe Brea. There's Oso Ighodaro, Rasheer Fleming. There's Kaman Malawach, and then is that Isaiah Livers on the right? Probably. Anyways, so let's just watch the audio because I don't want to get copyrighted, but there's our dogs. And I think there's actual dogs in this clip from what I've seen. They're all walking up like it's a movie, like a movie trailer. They stepped on a squeaky toy. Hold on, let's see if I can play the audio. Hold on, let's see.
Arizona Humane Society.
Squeaky toy. Oh, look at those dogs.
Hey everybody,
We're here at the Arizona Humane Society.
And we're celebrating schedule release.
by sponsoring adoption fees of pets.
They're sponsoring the adoption fees of pets. There's Ryan Dunn chewing on the Mavericks. That's funny.
I saw Winnie and I was like, I have to go get her.
No, we're with the Phoenix Suns, and we're gonna take care of the adoption fee today.
Oh, that's
so you guys are all good.
Thank y'all so much.
And we just want to let you know that we're gonna be covering all the costs. So all fees and everything's
That's
gonna be
cool.
on us, man. That's what's up.
Appreciate it.
Well, I'm Ryan with the Phoenix Suns, and today we are covering your adoption fee. So, here's your new dog.
That's cool.
No problem.
Shout out to the Suns for doing that, man. Oh, that's a cute dog.
She is so sweet.
Hopefully these dogs
baby,
become
how you doing?
Suns fans. Wait, this isn't a schedule release video.
Stay locked.
Now they're showing the schedule. Welcome to this exclusive Suns Geek stuff where we look at what the Suns posted in their video of dogs. Because everybody loves dogs, right? No, that's cool, the Suns, though, so that they show the schedule and all that. Oh, yeah, we'll fast forward. All right. Go see the full schedule. Yeah, we already did all that. Anyways, okay. But speaking of dogs, real quick, the Suns had a tweet earlier. Let me see if I can find it. Wait a minute. Want to see more dogs? Click here. Where was that tweet earlier? Yeah, here it is. So they were like, Suns fans, drop a photo of your dog in Suns gear for a chance to see your good boy or girl feature on the channels. Unfortunately, I don't have my dogs in any Suns gear yet, but I still figured I would just post a photo of my dogs because I love my dogs. And I shared these photos of my dogs. Yes, those are my dogs right there. They're beautiful. They're gorgeous. They're the best dogs ever. Look at them. There's my dog Bear. Look at him smiling. He's happy. Then we got my other dog Spunky, little model dog. And then here's both of them. I know they weren't in any Suns gear, but hopefully maybe the Suns will feature them just for fun. I don't know. But yeah, anyways, so here's some other cool Suns dogs. This one I saw, it's like one of the top comments. He's like, LOL, this was the toughest photo I've ever taken. He's wearing the D-Book Valley jersey, and he's got one of the Sun City Edition hats on. That's cool. And then my guy John Voida responded with his dog, Rally the Valley. That's funny. I should have just done something like that. Just sat my dog down and put a towel down. Oh, this dog's cute, too. That's cute, wearing a jersey. All right, guys. Well, let's see. Anything else to talk about? I'll let you guys kind of look at the responses while I'm finding our next subject or comment to talk about. That's a good photo from Rachel of her golden retriever, I believe. Winston looking back. That's cute. Let's see. There's one other thing I want to talk about, and it's actually not NBA related. Oh, that's a cute dog right there, too. Wearing the Booker jersey. But it's actually for all of you U of A fans out there. Let's see. It's our dog era disappointing. That was a lot of comments I can actually read. But anyways, let's get to this real quick, and then we'll answer some questions and we'll get out of here. For all you U of A fans out there, you guys know me. I'm not big into college basketball, but maybe I'll tune into a few more U of A games this year. There's some better photos of this, but like this was just the one that I saw. There's like some close-ups. Maybe I can find them, but check this out. The University of Arizona, U of A Wildcats basketball just revealed their new basketball court, and it looks amazing. They brought back the cactus. I love it. It just looks so much like cleaner and like kind of like in a vintage U of A way too. You got like the silhouette. You got the sun. You still got all the beautiful U of A stuff. And it's just a beautiful court. Man, like, and again, that cactus, jeez, dude, like, I love it. ever since I moved back to the Valley, I've had a new perspective and love for like cactuses and deserts and sunsets and all that great stuff. So when I saw this, I was like, yeah, I have to react to it on the channel. I think that looks cool. Maybe I'll go to a U of A game this year and see it in person. I don't know, but just wanted to react to that. All right, guys, let's get to some comments. Let's see. Ooh, I saw one good question already, but let me just scroll up for a little bit. Hernandez says, I feel aligned. It's the alignment era. Shout out to Suns GM Brian Gregory for making some jokes and like references to the alignment thing. Because if you don't know, like in his first press conference, he said like alignment like what 30 something times. Saul says, last season really pissed me off like no other season. And I've been watching the Suns since the 88-89 season. Exactly. Yeah. I didn't mind missing games last season, to be honest. They didn't care, and it rubbed off, to be honest. I remember saying to you guys so many times, I was like, guys, if you have like, other things to do, if you want to go be with your family or go see a movie or play video games or whatever, I'm like, go do it, because this Suns team just does not care. Like, you're not missing much. I hated saying that, but it was just so true last year. Mark, appreciate you being here. He says, prediction. I have the Phoenix Suns winning 45 plus games this upcoming season with a fast-paced team like the Suns, 7 seconds or less teams with the youth that they have. Let's go back to our Suns Geek wishful thinking. That would be awesome. A 45 plus-ish win team that is fun, fast-paced, and exciting with a bunch of young talent. That would be amazing. I hope that happens, Mark. If that does happen, we will reference your prediction and we'll reference this moment because that would just be amazing. Stefan, I appreciate you, man. I love every time you're here because you always say good morning, chat from Serbia. Appreciate you watching all the way from Serbia. Hope you guys are doing well over there. And I love you for supporting me. And thank you for representing the Suns all the way in Serbia, man. Hopefully you have some good gear and all that, and you're repping the Suns out there, man. Okay. Baxter, thank you for being here. Where was that question? It was let's see, it's something from Brian. I'm a Phoenix Suns fan. Okay. I'm sorry. It was from Saul. My apologies. Saul says, Geek, what's the first Suns team you remember? So for those of you who do not know, I'm in my 30s. And as cliche as this sounds, it really is true. It was those 90s teams, when we went to the finals back in 93. That's kind of just when I remember watching basketball in general. I remember watching 90s basketball. But like as I grew up, I started understanding basketball better and started becoming a bigger Suns fan because I was a kid like back in the day. It was those 7 seconds or less Suns teams. And that was when I really started understanding basketball, started studying the history of the game, and really started studying the history of the Suns. So, it goes back to the teams in the 90s, the 93 finals team. But really, like when I was old enough to kind of process everything, it was like those 7 seconds or less Suns teams. But yeah, hopefully that answers your question. Thunder Dan was one of my favorites. I love Thunder Dan, man. He's such a cool guy. I've met him a few times. He's a great guy. Let's see. What is your favorite Phoenix Suns player, or who is your favorite Phoenix Suns player? It's, oh my God, I just heard a loud thunder outside my house. It's monsooning, and I put that in quotations. It's monsooning right now in the Valley. That like kind of started up yesterday, and that just scared the crap out of me. Yeah, I'm checking the weather thing on my phone. It says Isolated thunderstorms. It's currently 90 degrees out right now, you guys. 90 degrees, which that might sound hot to some, but to us, that's pretty good. And my dogs are barking. Let's see. All right. Well, Saul says the Suns are global. The Suns are a global team. Hello, Stefan. Yes, we are global now. All right. Well, I think that's going to be it, you guys. We've already gone an hour, over an hour. This was a good show, you guys. I don't know if the comment was related to me, but somebody had asked where you at or where you been. Guys, I've been so busy. Like I've been busy with my job, just been busy with other stuff, and I keep saying this and I don't really follow up, but I really want to do my best. I want to give you guys more live shows this month and headed into September. I keep saying it, but I never really follow through. I want to have more guests on this channel. Hopefully in the rest of this month, and hopefully in September, I can kind of finally execute that. I've just been so busy. It was one of the most busiest summers of my life. And even this month has been extremely busy. But I promise you guys, I'm working hard. I'm still trying to upload content for you guys. And I say this a lot, but I genuinely mean it. I'm genuinely trying to do my best. I'm doing my best. I'm working hard. And I love you guys, man. All right, guys. I think that's going to be it. Hold on. Let's see. My first team, Saul says, first team I remember was KJ, Kevin Johnson, KJ, Hornacek, EJ, Lang, Tim Perry, Mark West, and of course, Thunder Dan. He says, Brian says, good night. Don't be a stranger, bro. Missed you. I missed you guys, man. You guys are awesome. I really do got to upload more. I got to go live more, and you guys are just awesome, man. All right, guys. Well, that's going to be it. This was a fun show. It was good to actually talk about something Suns related in the middle of August. So, and just stay tuned, you guys. I'm going to do my best to try to go live more often. And I think on that note, you guys, I think we're done. This was a great show. I love you guys. Stay safe out there. God bless you guys. Remember to be the light in this dark world. Turn around somebody's day. Be kind to people. Love people and bless people, you guys. And God bless you guys. Stay safe. Oh, whoa, I don't know what just happened. Stay safe out there. God bless you guys. Peace out and go Suns. Cue the outro.